talk about now is, as you can see by the title, essential blogging tips. Okay, now this is a sort of follow-up from the video we did a few weeks ago. So whether you're watching this live or if you're perhaps watching the recording, because this is getting put in the members area, if you're watching the recording, I recommend you go back and go back to week 1, right at the bottom of the page, and look at the getting results fast, because we do cover a lot of blogging techniques. That's sort of we're following on with this presentation today. Okay, obviously if you're watching live, we don't want you to go away now, but you might have already seen this video. I think we did it 2 webinars ago. You might have already seen that presentation, but if not, just go back to week 1 and have a look. And even if you've been in this program a while, it's definitely worth watching. There's a few nuggets in there, and we're not just talking about, we're talking about getting started with the program in general, but we also go a lot into blogging. Okay, and that's sort of what we're going to cover today. So we're going to spend maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, maybe a touch more. We'll see how it goes, and just going through a few things. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of that getting results fast video is that a lot of members did watch it, and suddenly we're seeing a lot of activity on a lot of people's blogs. I haven't managed to get around everybody's, but I've read quite a lot, and there's some really good posts, some interesting posts and what have you, and they're far more original than what people were doing, where they were just copying and pasting articles and what have you. They're getting more involved in their blogs, and I've noticed for those that are doing it regularly, it's increasing their rankings, and the feedback we're getting is it's fantastic. And that's why it's like, yeah, let's do this one where there's even more ideas for unique posts that you can create yourself and put out there to get even more rankings and traffic and everything else that follows and snowballs on from that.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, we've always said, your blog is your most important asset. And I know we've got, social media has really took off, and but I still personally believe that your number one site will always be your blog. Okay.
Where did people go yesterday to find content? Apparently,
it was down, wasn't it?
The only place they could go, because Insta What's was down, Facebook was down. I didn't even notice. My kids told me. And then I see all the memes today about Facebook being down for 24 hours and how did the world survive? And I'm like, what? Oh, I was reading a few blog posts, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I agree. I was away all day yesterday, so yeah, I was offline for most of the day. But I got home and opened up Facebook, and yeah, it was like the world had ended. But your blog, basically, it is a way of sort of building an audience, interacting with your audience, getting authority. And let's not forget, it's a way to promote your products and services. Okay, again, I keep stressing this. It is probably the most important site you will build. Okay, that's why it's the first thing you do in the program. Week 1, buy a domain and install WordPress. That's the first thing we teach, because it literally is the most important thing you'll do, especially if you follow up and do a lot of what we're talking. I mean, if you install WordPress, make your blog look nice, and then leave it, it's not going to do anything. But if you keep adding content and keep interacting with your audience, it's obviously going to benefit you. And this is usually what you'll find happens. Okay, when you go and search your name online, what you want to happen is your blog is the first thing that people find. Now, that's not going to happen for everyone. There's a lot of factors at play. The way Google works, and depending on what your name is as well. I mean, if I was called John Smith, it would be very hard to get ranked first. But there's you want, when people are looking for you, you want them to be able to find what you're doing online, and not just your blog. You maybe want them to find your Facebook page if you're doing that sort of thing, or your YouTube channel if you're doing that sort of thing. But you definitely want them to find your blog. I mean, if you're trying to put yourself out there online, you're selling products and services, you're trying to create authority, you don't want people to put your name into Google and not find anything, do you? You want to establish that credibility. So putting the first thing, getting your blog out there and getting it ranked on Google is the first stepping stone. Okay.
So, well, then you with a nice blooming name like John that's like nobody else has got, you wouldn't believe how many Randy Smiths there are in the friggin' United States of America. There's none in this country. I'm the only one in the whole of the UK. Then I go on the World Wide Web, I can't get bloody ranked. Ridiculous.
Well, I have my ranking battles happen with a wrestler called John Thornhill and a journalist who writes for the Times in the UK, or I think he does, called John Thornhill. But at this moment in time, when you type my name in, there below me. So yeah, so there's a wrestler out there and a journalist. That's the truth. It's funny when you do search your name, because you do usually find other people with the same name, and it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird when you see other people out there. But anyway, like I say, we're going to cover some essential blogging techniques that's hopefully going to help you get more from your blog. And like I said, make sure you've checked out the video at the end of week 1. This is still going to all make sense, but if you combine what we sort of talked about in week 1 and what we're talking about in this presentation, hopefully you're literally going to have everything you need. Okay.
Lovely little comment from Elaine before you move on, John.
Yeah.
She was blogging about blogging, and that's made her pick up 3 new clients to help build a blog and a website for him.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a good point. A very good point. Just seeing people. Rebecca's name is quite popular. Michael's the same. Yeah, it's just one of those things we have to do. Paul's just saying to check my blog, and I'm 5th in Google, so happy with that. Yeah, just try searching your name. By the way, guys, if you haven't done that, just put your name into Google and see what happens. I mean, most people have already done that, I think, but it's very, very interesting. So the first thing I want to mention is obviously just a little bit security and other things as well, and just keep your blog updated. Okay, you can do this. You can do this automatically as well. I do have a few of my blogs updating automatically. Some people might say it's not the best idea. Some people like to wait a few days, wait until the plugins are updated, especially when there's a big WordPress update. But my personal opinion, and again, it's my personal opinion. Other people might disagree, but I try and keep my WordPress updated as soon as it's ready. As soon as the new version's ready, I'm updating. So we're up 5 point something at the moment, but if we're at 5.1 and 5.2 came out tomorrow, I'd be updating my blogs. Again, some people would say wait a few days, just let the plugins catch up, but usually there's no impending doom by just updating WordPress. And like I say, 90% of mine is set to update automatically. When you install WordPress, there's an option for you to do that. Just check a box and you can update automatically. Okay. And obviously you need to make sure your plugins and your themes and things like that are updated. Quite often there'll be, well, not quite often, but sometimes you'll see a theme might stop working. When there's a big WordPress update, sometimes all the themes might stop working or something may go wrong. So you definitely want to be making sure that you're checking that your themes are running the latest version as well. For example, we had an issue with WidLink, and the widget we use to promote each other's blogs. When WordPress 5.0 came out, it stopped working, and we had to get it updated ASAP. Now, if you're still running the old version of WidLink, the WidLink widget right now, you're not going to be, it just won't work. So obviously you need to go into WordPress, you need to go and click on the update link and make sure it's updated. It's like that with every part of WordPress. You need to be making sure that you're running the latest version. And the best way to do that is just to log in periodically, at least once a week, I'd say, at least. And if you've got multiple WordPress installs, optimized press installs, things like that, my advice is to make a list of, make a doc with a list of all your WordPress installs and just keep an eye on them, and maybe just once a week log in, make sure everything's up to date. It's very, very simple, as you guys will probably know, to update things. Make sure your themes are updated and things like that, because an out-of-date blog is a security risk, and I think we all know that. Even an out-of-date plugin can cause a security risk. We've seen it happen over the years where, something happens with WordPress or something happens with a WordPress plugin, and then it become, people get hacked and things like that. So you definitely want to be making sure you're up to date, okay? You also want to be checking for new comments regularly. You can set WordPress up to notify you when new comments are left on your blog. For example, every time someone leaves a comment, you can receive a notification. I tend to just log in regularly, like I say, and just look for comments, okay? What I find is when I put a new WordPress post out there, when I write a new post and put it out there, obviously I'm going to expect to get a few comments coming in, especially if I broadcast about this, about a new blog post. So I usually keep an eye on things and keep right on top of it and try and approve posts as soon as I possibly can. One thing I will say is beware of spam comments. And while it's sometimes obvious that the spam comment is a spam comment, sometimes it can be a little bit hard to spot. But the warning signs are sort of, you can clearly see that those comments on the left are spam. The Joseph Frontier or whatever that name is, it's very generic. Thank you for posting such informative content. Another awesome article. So there's a grammar error there. So you can clearly see that that is a spam comment, and you'll learn very, very quickly. Use most of the time genuine comments. There'll be a picture of the person. The link will actually be going to a website. You can see Dave there. That's a very, we know who he. I actually know who he is, but you can clearly see that's not a spam comment because he's addressing me by name. He's actually talking about the post as well. It's not generic. It's not general. It's actually talking about what I must have wrote about, and so on. Okay, just be careful. When you're approving comments, because some of the spam comments are getting very clever. Some of them will actually start to address you by name. Some of them may have a picture, but you can usually tell. Instinct actually over a period of time. But if you're not sure if a comment is real or not, you can let us know and we've checked it out for you. But just bear that in mind, because we did have I do remember we had one member. He'd had his blog up a few weeks, and he was literally saying, "I'm getting loads of comments. I'm very excited." And when we checked it out, most of them were spam. But there were very, very clever spam comments that, they look quite real. So just bear that in mind, okay? Like I say, you can clearly see in that example that they are spam on the left. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Randy, about the spam.
Yeah, just what Rebecca's sort of just put in, the email address or the website link is sometimes a help. If you look at the website link and you go, oh, Las Vegas CB social, what's that got to do with my industry? GameReactor.no by, what's that got to do with my industry? Whereas DaveWakeman.com, I'm sort of looking at that thinking that looks safe to click on. I'll click it, open it and go, oh, it's a blog very similar to mine. It's got similar content. Yeah, we'll both get brownie points if his comments on my blog and my blog's comment links back to his and what have you. So yeah, approve Dave and then spam the rest.
Yeah, and Rebecca's asking, are there any good auto blogging tools these days? I don't really do anything like that. I try not to automate stuff. I mean, I don't know exactly what you're getting at, Rebecca, but for example, like just to give you an example, spinning articles and spinning content and create auto content stuff. I think using that sort of approach, and I'm not saying you are, by the way, Rebecca, but anyone who sort of uses that sort of approach, I don't advise that. I write for people, not for search engines.
I think maybe Rebecca's on about some of the useful plugins that have disappeared over the years. You used to be able to do a blog post and then automatically share it without having to click the share button. So you'd post on your blog and it would automatically go and post it on your Twitter, your whatever, and, Google blogs and WordPress blogs and what have you to get even more backlinks. But these days, none of them seem to work anymore. And a lot of the old sites have been closed down. So you can't have your Squidoo lens and your MySpace page and your whatever, linking up now because they've just closed the bloody sites down and what have you. So I think people must have just given up writing these types of auto, do this, that and the other.
Yeah. Yeah, Rebecca's not on about spinners. Good. Yeah, we're a writing schedule out over time. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you're getting at what Randy's saying as well about sharing, but I know you can schedule, but you probably know that you can schedule a post when you write it. But yeah, I do want to say though, anyone who's looking at taking a shortcut with writing content, I perfectly get where people are coming from when they want to sort of have content generated and whatever it may be, auto-generating content. I mean, how's that going to be beneficial for a reader if the content's auto-generated or spun or anything like that? So, like I said earlier on, I write for people. I don't write, some people might advise you need to put the X amount of keywords in a post so it gets found and this, that and the other. Just put good content out there. Just put good content out there and forget the keywords, forget what you need to, forget spinning and all of this sort of stuff and auto-generating. Just put good content out there that people will want to read, and then you're going to gain a following, you're going to get more clicks to your, your recommendations and things like that. If you put something out there what doesn't read properly or it doesn't give value, well, it's people are not, they're just going to leave. Okay, so just bear that in mind. I know that's not what Rebecca was saying, but just bear that in mind. So anyway,
as Elaine said, even if you use some PLR, by all means use it, but reword it all so it sounds like it's you talking.
Yeah, exactly. Because if if you just use PLR as it is, everyone else is doing that as well. Okay. Ronnie, I'll let you check that one from Rebecca there, because I don't want to...
Not one I'm familiar with, Rebecca, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same. I tend to just write a post and put it out there. But if I was, if I was going to schedule a post, I just use the WordPress feature that WordPress has. So yeah.
Definitely, Ben. Yes, we covered that in that first video about posting to Facebook, sharing it with LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and also making sure that your Facebook profile has your web URL linking back to your blog, which is all brownie points in Google's eyes and rankings and what have you. But it's all covered in that first video, the getting fast results, week 1, video 10, I think John said it was.
Yeah, video 10, right at the bottom of the page of week 1. Very good. Okay, so let's just move on a little bit to generating content. Again, we did talk about generating content last time, but we're sort of taking this to, giving you a bit more advice. Okay, and I do believe it was Randy who came up with most of this, but what we call the list post. Like you'll give away X amount of tips. There you go. You can see the example there is 5 product launch tips, 10 ways to drive traffic to your blog, or it could be 10 great weight loss tips, whatever it may be. If you can come up with a number of things you want to give, just general advice that you're going to give someone, it usually appeals more as a post, instead of just saying, I'm going to, for example, I'm going to show you how to launch, I'm going to give you some tips on launching. If you give someone 5 specific tips, then it sort of gets people interested. And there's an example there. I came up with 18 ways. So, it wasn't a round number, it was 18. And I just thought, right, I'm going to show people how to get more affiliates to promote your product. And, you can see, obviously some of them are obvious, but, that's what I did in that example. And even in that...
A random number makes it more intriguing. You get more clicks to it.
Yeah.
18 ways. 18, not 10 or 20. What 18? What I need to see. Click.
Yeah, I agree. And you can see there as well, obviously, since you look at the very first paragraph, since launching Simple Traffic Solutions, obviously that's linking off to the product. And then on number 3, I'm saying this is a guy I use. I guarantee that will be an affiliate link as well. And here's another example. This post is actually one of my most popular posts. I actually wrote these while I was on vacation. I came up with the 101 ideas. I wanted to try and do a big post that's sort of almost like a featured post, and 101 internet marketing hacks. Okay, and I just put number 28 and 55 in to get people intrigued and get them scrolling and get them looking, and that works very well as well. So just anything you're coming up with, if you can think of a number of tips. Also, when you do this as well, the ideas seem to flow as well. Instead of just thinking to yourself, I'm going to show people how to get more traffic to their blog, say to yourself, right, can I think of 10 ways to get traffic to your blog? Or, and then see where you go from there. Maybe you only come up with 5 or 6 or 7. Well, that's okay.
Going back to this brainstorming scenario, John mentions 101 internet marketing hacks, and my brain straight away goes to, John, why didn't you do 59 internet marketing hacks? And then at the end of it go, hey, and if you'd like another 40 whatever to take it to 101, just put your name and email and I'll link you to a password protected post with the remainder on, and that way you're building your list. Or you could have 20 list building tips, and then it could be, get to number 20 and go 21, give me $5 and I'll send you a PDF with another 30 list building tips, so you can make sales or you can build your list, or so if you can come up with enough of a number, you could split it and have some of it separate to help build your list, or have some of it separate in a PDF that you charge for, or any number of different, click this link and open this site and I'll then release the rest of these tips for you, or whatever you want to do. So you could use it for driving traffic, for building your list, for making sales.
Yeah. At the end of my 101, I'm 99.9% sure I link off to my webinar. Say something along the lines of, if you like this list, you're going to like this even more, go and check it out, something along those lines. I definitely link to something. I'm not going to not.
Well, we've said that in the first video, the Get Results Fast, is that everyone should at least have a PS, have you seen the product creation webinar? Even if the blog post itself isn't about that, you can always put it in a PDF, PS and find a way to tie it in.
Yeah. Okay. So that was that one. Okay, guys. So hopefully you've got just that alone. If you're just using that method alone, you should be able to come up with ideas for content. The next one will be a review post. Tell people about the products you love and generate affiliate income at the same time. Now, again, you know, this, you can be doing this right away. You can be literally doing this right now. I mean, you could be writing about Michael Cheney's Gold Rush right now if you're liking, you know, if you're liking the product. There's a few people already said right at the start how much they like the product. Write about it. Tell people, what do you like about it? What do you like about that product? What has it taught you? How can you benefit from it? And then what advice would you give other people using that product? What would you tell them to do? If you write something like that, giving that sort of information away, and then link off to the product at the end, I guarantee people are going to click through and check it out. Okay, and that's very, very easy to do. And just one example here, the Bloggers Roadmap. Okay, you know, it was a comprehensive user review, as you can see there, but there's lots and lots of angles you can come up with when you're writing reviews. Okay, so just bear that in mind. You know, next week Tony's launching the photographer's pick. Okay, maybe you could get prepared and get a review ready, set it to go live, or even before it goes live. You know, and get ready so when the product is for sale, you can be writing about it and seeing how it's benefiting you and how you can, you know, how her product's helping you, and then put a link in your, you know, obviously send people there through your affiliate link. Okay.
You could even use that on what, I know you've got it coming up, I don't know when, but there's a fear one, and you could do a review of Tony's, but start out with the whole controversy of, like, you know, have you had a Getty letter? You know, what's it all about? And then go on about people being fined for using photographs that they don't own the rights to. And then, by the way, a friend of mine's just released a whole package of photographs to save you with the risk of running against Getty and whoever and blah, 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 go and buy this.
Yeah, I think Tony uses that angle on her sales copy. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you could be fined a lot of money if you're using an image that has copyright. So you could write your post about that and how people have, you know, horror stories basically, and almost scare people into making sure that they're using the right material.
Richard's put a comment. How short people.
Okay, this one, how to.
Sorry, just Rich there saying, you know, how about this as a title? Are short people more creative than taller ones? And I think that's a cracking title.
Yeah,
because it'd be curious and, you know, to see. I mean, straight away, I'm sat there thinking, yes, they have to be, because how do they get to the top shelf in the supermarket?
Well, I'm 6'2", and I'd want to know why short people are more creative. So I'd want to check that out. So there you go. But the how-to post again, you know, how do you get whatever it is? It's sort of touching on the list post, but maybe you just have one big thing you want to share. For example, how to get more likes to your Facebook page, or how to make more money on Amazon. Okay, how to do X, Y, Z. You find something out online, you learn something, you're going to teach people that. You could record a video, you could just write about it with some screenshots, whatever it may be. If you've got something that you've learned or something you think other people would appreciate, you know, knowing, put it out there. And this is just an example here, okay? How to make money on Amazon, okay? Yeah, actually, right. Here we are now, Randy, the fear post. So yeah, you know, Google Slaps, Facebook updates, whatever. And again, Tony's product, if I was writing a review about Tony's product next week, and I will be using that angle, you know, the fear angle in some of my emails next week when I promote it, I would definitely be writing about how you can risk getting fined for using an image you might think is okay to use, but it isn't. And Randy, you know all about that, don't you, from experience?
I do. And not just from, I've never stole an image off Google intentionally, but I've bought PLR packs where people have put a load of images in, and then, as it turned out, whoever one of those images was then sold by the creator to Getty, and then Getty didn't bother to get the guy who was selling the PLR pack that contained that image to take it down, because as far as they're concerned, he was providing more customers for them, because the more he sold that package of images and the more people used them, the more they could find those people. So yeah, they didn't go after him and fine him. They waited to see who he'd sold it to and then tried to fine us all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How much did they want to quid? How much?
850 quid they wanted.
It's over $1,000 for one image.
$15 image.
Yeah. Crazy. And that's another example there. Okay. So how to avoid the next big Google slap. This one was actually, I think it was a product Chris Hitman launched. he had a plugin that basically made your blog load faster. And this is actually last year. Google were going to start penalizing websites that took longer than a certain amount of time to load. So basically, a faster loading site would get a better ranking than a site that took longer if they were identical. So I use the fear factor to promote that product. You know, so I'm saying, look, here's how you avoid it. You don't want to be, if your site loads slow, you're going to fall down the search engine rankings. You want to make sure that your site loads fast. Here's a plugin that can do it for you. Simple stuff. Okay.
Ben's asking, should you use your blog content for your newsletter or focus on sales when you email? A bit of both, Ben. Put a bit of the blog content in and then link to your blog. If you want to read the rest of the article, go here. And then you could still have the links in the blog post and in the email, and vice versa. I mean, my main thing that I've always said to people is, even if I put free content in my email, one of the links somewhere might lead to a freebie, but there'll be an upsell. There's always money links, is my point in my emails. There's always money links, but the money link might be on my blog, so therefore my email might tell them half the story and then go and read the rest of this online, and then in my blog post there'll be money links, or at least in the PS there will be.
Yeah, I think it depends what you're doing as well. I mean, if you write for example, a 500-word email, and you're giving people great advice, and you know, there's nothing wrong with putting that in your blog as well. Nothing wrong at all. You know, you might change a few things here and there, but I mean, if I was writing something to specifically promote something and put value out there, and it was in an email, I would definitely put it on my blog as well. I'd probably put it on Facebook and places like that as well. If you're writing good content, put it everywhere you can. Simple as that, and obviously part of that is your blog. Oops, hold on. There we go. And obviously personal posts as well. Randy does a lot more of this than I do. We've talked about this many, many times in his emails as well. If you follow Randy, you'll know exactly what he's been up to this week. I haven't actually checked this week, Randy. I do apologise, but you know, Shelley put a post in the Facebook group only last week saying, you know, get on Randy's emails, finding out about the dog, going to the vets and different things. And you know, Randy does that a lot with his blog as well. I do get personals from time to time, but you know, that's all down to personal preference. But when I actually launched my blog, I actually did a month in the life of John Thornhill, and you know, I was, when I launched my blog, I was starting to have success, so I thought I'd document 31 days and just let people know every day what I did. And you know, but occasionally I will. It just depends what's happening in my life, and it's up to you how much you want to do that. But if you're into writing about what you're up to, and you can turn it into marketing lessons and advice and things like that, then
I think I've just got, as somebody's put in here, the way my mind works, I've just got a weird mind that I've been in sales and marketing for so long that every conversation I have, it's almost like my mind goes to, how can I apply that to marketing? I mean, prime example, I've made commissions today promoting a product that I wouldn't have even known about yesterday. But on the school run, one of the kids happened to mention that a girl in her class used to be bullied and now everybody wants to be her friend because she's practically a professional YouTuber. And then I saw this, I mean, you know, I went to Warrior Plus or what have you, and up there at number 2 or whatever was Tubepreneur, showing you how to become a professional YouTuber. And I just thought, that's weird, that. I've just had that conversation with the kids about their friend at school, so that became my email today. You know, conversation and a rant. And it started out as a, again, weird related, but it started out as me getting a bit peed off with the kids because it was like, can I borrow your phone? What for? I need the toilet. It's like, what? I need YouTube for the toilet. It's like, no, you can't borrow my phone. You got my battery's dead. How am I going to go to the toilet? And I'm like, what? How do you think we survived all these generations? We've all managed to go to the toilet in our lives without YouTube. And then you've got that. Then the whole thing about the friend at school being a professional YouTuber. And then I see a program advertised, how to become a YouTube entrepreneur. And it's like, well, that all makes perfect sense. And it all ties in nicely. So I can tell people a little bit about life, have a whinge about my kids not being able to go to the loo without living phones and mobile devices. Then mention that, you know, one of their friends at school, a teenager, is making money on YouTube. And oh, look, here's a product that tells you all about it.
Perfect. And that could just as easily be a blog post as well. And I mean, Rebecca's just saying she writes long Facebook posts that I'm going to convert to blog posts. Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of marketers online on Facebook in particular, a lot of the marketers I follow giving fantastic advice on Facebook. And I bet you a lot of them are not putting it on WordPress or on their blog, you know. And I mean, once a post sort of, yeah, posts can be shared, and you get reminded every year of good stuff, and you can share it again. But I think it's more permanent on a blog. It can be found easier. So, you know, I still make money from posts I wrote many years ago. I still see affiliate commissions coming for older products. You know, I've got ebooks out there from like 15 years ago that I still make the odd sale from. It's crazy, and you're putting stuff out there. You know, an email, for example, once it's been read, it's gone. But if you can convert that email into a blog post, it's there forever, or it's there for as long as your blog is anyway, and it can make you a lot of money for years to come. So just bear that in mind every time you put stuff out.
If you use Link Supercharger, as John mentioned right at the start, you might have an old post from donkey's years back that says, oh, here's John Thornhill showing you how to make money on Warrior Forum. And then suddenly you realize that actually that same thing applies to Facebook, but that product is no longer relevant. So all you need to do is go and swap the links out, and suddenly it can be, you know, how to make money from social media sites, and you've got a link to a social media program in there or what have you. And you can just swap the link out because you've used Link Supercharger, so you can edit it.
Yeah, perfect. So let's cover some more ideas. Something I do a lot is guest posts. You know, lots and lots of partnership members have wrote guest posts, and I actually do a lot of bonus offers where I let people write guest posts. The only stipulation is it must be original, and you know, actually sometimes as well I tell people it must be exclusively on my blog and not on other places, you know, other blogs and things like that. Don't do that as much now, but basically it's people helping me write content, and it's a win-win situation, because if someone writes a guest post for me, they're getting content, you know, spread, and usually there's an affiliate link involved somewhere that's going to get clicked. And if you're writing a guest post for someone else, the effect's reversed. You know, you could write something that's going to go on someone else's blog, and in years to come, there's still going to be links getting clicked, and people are still going to find you. You know, people who like the content, they might look up your name, click through to your blog, opt in, that sort of thing. Okay, so you know, writing guest posts and letting people write guest posts is win-win both ways. Mistakes people make type posts. So let's go back to the content list. You know, five mistakes people make when promoting a product on ClickBank, or 5 mistakes affiliates make when writing a review. You know, those sort of things. You know, if you can spot things that people are doing wrong, you know, maybe you've learned how to, you know, maybe you're getting results from from doing something. What were you doing wrong before that? You know, people always want to know if they're doing something wrong. And if you can sort of tell people, yeah, I've seen the mistakes you're making, or the people are making in general, people want to know what it is. Okay. Randy, can I hear a child in the background?
No, it's a cat.
Is that the cat? Wow. Okay.
I honestly thought it was even louder.
Okay. Well, that proves we're live. Right then, a news post. What's going on in the world? I mean, we all know in the UK what's going on right now.
You'll hear a door. Well, I just let the bugger out.
But yeah, you can turn what's going on in the world at this current moment in time, and maybe there's something happening, and maybe you can spin it into something that's to do with marketing. Okay, so you know, look around and what's going on, and maybe you can you know, use that for content. Rants. Yeah, something upset you, or some sort of something gone on in the internet marketing world that's upset you. It's just something in general. Write about it. People love reading rants. I actually, you know, I do quite often go on a little rant. It could be about anything. I mean, I quite often rant about how lazy people are, about how everyone wants something done for them, about how people are not prepared to put some work in to become successful, and about the, you know. There was one guy, I actually turned it into a blog post. He replied to one of my emails, and he was telling me what he wanted, you know, a list of demands. And he was basically, he said, I'm looking for something where I don't have to do any work, it's newbie friendly, it's going to make me money, etc., etc. And I basically went on a rant about it. I turned that email into a rant saying, this guy's never, ever going to be successful online because he wants too much and he doesn't want to do any work. And you know, I in the post I was saying, look, you have to put the work in, which is what I see on my webinar. You have to put the work in. You're not going to become successful if you're just sitting down looking for, stuff that's going to make you rich and turn it into a rant. So there'll be stuff out there that gets your goat up, so to speak. Randy's done it many times on our webinars where he's gone on a little rant.
Yeah, I tell you what, when I do emails with a rant in, I get more replies to them than probably anything where it's just brilliant advice.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people do identify, and they'll either identify with you or against you, which is great either way, because it means that they're commenting. If they're against you, they'll tell you the reasons why your rant's wrong. And as long as they're reasonable people that just put forward a reasonable argument, you can have a discussion, and that forms part of building a relationship. If they're with you, they'll say, do you know what? My teenagers are exactly the same, blah, 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 blah. And, again, they now relate to you and think, oh, he's not just a marketer, he's the same as us. He's got teenagers that are a pain in the backside. And suddenly your relationship's more formed and better again. So either way, you can't go wrong with a rant or a bit of controversy.
You were perfect into that one, Randy. Controversy as well. But I mean, I will sort of agree with you. When I put a ranty type email or post out there, always get a better response. Now, obviously, you couldn't do it every day unless that was part of what your image and things like that. But once in a while, let go. And if something's really, really getting to you, talk about it, and you won't believe. 9 times out of 10, you'll get a ton of people agreeing. So yeah, hopefully there's some ideas there.
When I was looking at that YouTubepreneur thing, I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should start my own YouTube channel. And then it's like, well, I could do some marketing tips and what have you. But even there, my brain straight away went to, and then every 10th post or something, I'll have a grumpy old gits post where I just sit and whinge about the youth of today. And that'll ostracize people and get them in my camp or against my camp or what have you. It'll get shared virally. And then when people come to the channel to view that one, they'll see the helpful videos, and hopefully, if they've identified with me, they'll start watching some of them, and the next thing you know, they're on your list and they're buying your products.
Yep. We said this last time, but we are going to say it again. Always have a call to action, okay? I'll bring all of these, actually all up at once. Make sure you ask people to do things. If you want them to like your comment, share your comment, or make a comment, read more, whatever it is, tell people on the blog post. So, want to find out more, go here. Please like and share. If you like what you read, please click this button here to share this content. Whatever it may be you want them to do, tell them. Okay? Tell people to do something. Yeah, exactly.
Ben's asking, how often do you both blog versus send out email? Emails is daily, Ben. Blogging, none of us blog as often as we should, probably. So I won't comment on that. We should be doing it more regular than we are, but emails, that's your money, that's daily.
Yeah, twice a day for me, emails, most days, sometimes 3. Blogging, I'll be honest, every calendar month I make sure I've got content on my blog, but in the early days it's more important if you're starting out. If I was starting out today from nothing, the first thing I would do is create a blog, and I'd be writing probably daily for at least a few months. That's how important it is when you're starting out, okay? Once you become more established, it's probably less important unless blogging is really going to be your thing. But in the early days, it is super, super important because it's building you that online presence.
And we all like presents.
Yeah. More tips. We've only got 2 more slides, guys, so we're nearly done. Visit other members' blogs. Okay, I'll remind you how to do that at the end of this, but just looking at what other members are doing is going to give you ideas. You're going to get tips. You're going to see some other people doing something you like. Maybe you can see a mistake on another person's blog and advise and things like that. But it's definitely going to give you ideas for content.
Or maybe you can just leave a comment, and if it's a busy blog, you've got backlinks.
Mm-hmm. But definitely do that, okay? Definitely arrange guest posts. I talked about that earlier, about how it's beneficial both ways. Do a guest post swap. You write on their blog, they'll write on yours, and you both benefit, okay? Share other members' posts. This is a big one, guys. I mean, if you're reading a Partnership of Success members blog post and you like it, just click that share button and put it on Facebook, at a bare minimum, okay? Leave comments. The more you do that as well, it's just helping everyone in general. But again, most of the time you're allowed to have a link back as well. Now, if you're going to leave a comment, don't just put great post and then a link back to something. Obviously, leave a genuine comment, tell people why you like it, offer your opinion, etc. Okay, and read the blogger's roadmap. That is available again for free in Partnership to Success. Just make sure you go over that. At the time of recording this, Dan Sumner, who created it, is actually coming up with an updated version as well. Even though the content's fine, that's in there. He's got some more stuff he's going to add as well. So do make sure you read that as well and go through his training, because again, it is free. And finally, that's where you need to go to check out the members' blogs, okay? If you go in there, everyone that's submitted their blog will be in there. Now, what we do check usually once a month. If any links die, any blogs. We do get occasionally, people's blogs becoming obsolete. People do leave the program, and unfortunately, and we take the blogs down. But most of the blogs in there you will find are very active, and you're definitely going to get ideas. And also, if your blog is not in there, if you don't see it, let us know, and we put it in there, and that will definitely help you get more traffic as well. Okay.